People ask how an old codger like me stays in shape. The fact is, 80% of being healthy is what you cram or don't cram into your pie hole. You've probably already heard of the ketogenic or keto diet. To sum it up, it's a high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb diet that forces your body to burn fat rather than the glucose or simple sugars that so many people are addicted to. The bottom line is this kind of diet works. And I use Keto Elevate because it's specifically designed to help quickly and efficiently raise your ketone levels so you can reap the major benefits of the keto diet lifestyle. And guys, this isn't just an ad. This stuff really works. Use my link in the description, ketowithflix.com, and get 51% off while supplies last.
Let's go ahead and keep on with this law enforcement thing. I listened to this video right here. It's only 3 minutes and 13 seconds long. The name of the video is LA Officer Who Posted Letter to LeBron James Reveals Why He Did It. I really, really like a large portion of what this guy says, but you have to remember, this guy is still a law enforcement officer in Los Angeles. This guy is part of the problem. This guy, he seems to be smart. He's articulate. He forms his thoughts well. He seems to be really even-keeled. It seems like he wants peace. But remember, he is a law enforcer. The dichotomy here, the disconnect here is the big problem that we have in this country and really around the world are people who believe they have more rights than you do. See, that's the thing I have against law enforcement is these people in uniform literally believe, and you can see it by the way they act, that they are higher than you, that you are under them, that they are the masters and you're the servants while they call themselves public servants. So listen to what some of what this guy says. His name is Dion Joseph, and he is a law enforcement officer in LA County.
Everybody's hurting right now. And not only is everybody hurting, people are also being gaslit. They're also being put together and everybody's in their own silo or their tribe. And when we begin to tribalize, bad things start to happen.
I totally agree. When we begin to tribalize, bad things start to happen. What do you call law enforcement? That is a tribe. That's the enforcement class. We have the political class, the untouchables, and we have the law enforcer class who has qualified immunity. Exactly. Our problem is tribalism. This man who most of what he says, I completely agree with, is part of the problem because of what he chose to do as a profession in law enforcement. This right here is a major psychological operation. Because objectively, you can know that because of his profession, what he has chosen to do, nobody made him fill out that application for law enforcement. He wanted the ring of power. Maybe he did it for good reasons. I don't know what his motivation for being a law enforcement officer is, but he's got to know that his thin blue line cult, his thin blue line gang is far more dangerous than the Crips and the Bloods ever thought about being, because the people believe that they have legitimate authority over everybody else. And I'm talking about the people that these cops claim to protect and serve. That's what makes it even more dangerous, because in the minds of everybody, it's like, oh, okay, they can do wrong because they're cops and you can't say anything about it. And the judicial system will just slap them on the wrist or put them on paid administrative leave. It's okay for them to do it because they walk under the banner of qualified immunity. So the psychological operation, just to be clear, is, while I agree with a lot of what Dion Joseph says right here, his profession is the very epitome of the tribalism he says we shouldn't be in. His tribe, his thin blue line fraternal order of police Freemasonic cult is one of the biggest problems in this world, because they're the ones that are going to be out there enforcing the red flag laws, or Brian Babin and Dan Crenshaw's TAPS Act, Threat Assessment, Protection and Safety Order, and instituting and enforcing all these ERPOs, these extreme risk protection orders. His thin blue line cult, his tribe, is the one that's going to take you down if they feel like you shouldn't have plant matter in your car, and we're going to impound your vehicle, we're going to cuff you, throw you in the back of the car, stick you in the cage. He's the aggressor. This man who makes so much sense, is so articulate, seems like he's smart, and he seems like he's on our side. That is the psychological operation, and that's what works in our minds. And that psychological operation, the purpose for it is so that you can drop your mental guard and let crap like this stuff in and just start agreeing with everything that they say. And agreeing with, and not seeing the what he's wittingly or unwittingly obscuring is the elephant in the middle of the living room. They will trample over you in a heartbeat. They are your enemies. This Dion Joseph is your enemy. He's the one that sided on the dotted line and said, I'll be an order follower. I'll follow the laws. I'll uphold the laws of the Constitution. Is he gonna form a line, a barrier around your house when the IRS agents with guns come and say, hey, you're a tax evader? Are they? Or are the law enforcement agents going to help the IRS extract you out of the house so that the IRS can throw you into some federal prison somewhere? He's an enemy. If he's not going to protect you like he said he would, then he's your enemy.
And it's just really unfortunate. So
and that's another thing. I'm glad you put that up, Punisher. Cocaine and steroids. This guy might be on an illegal. I know it's illegal in the state of California. Steroids is illegal pretty much in every state in the union. Is he taking steroids? He's a pretty big guy. What does that guy weigh? Like 280, 290? This guy's massive. Look, he doesn't even have a neck. His arms are bigger than my upper legs. But will this guy right here help his buddies if they catch you with steroids? He's part of the problem. He's a big part of the problem while he's coming up with some, pretty good verbal solutions.
Wanted to just hopefully show that two men from different ends of a spectrum can sit down, and actually we probably want the same thing. We want to save lives, but there's ways to do it without creating or widening the chasm.
Let me just point out something real quick. Okay, because like I said, I agree with a lot of what this guy says, but you notice the slow violin music in the background, using the chords that just kind of evoke emotion. You look under here, it's got 360,000 views. It was uploaded just about almost 2 days ago on April 27th. It premiered on Fox News. Fox News is a part of the problem, just like CNN is part of the problem, or MSLSD. It's got 17,000 likes to 760 dislikes. I thumbed through, just for about 2 or 3 minutes, and people love this guy. This guy keeps it 100%. I didn't expect his voice to be so deep. You're right. He isn't irrational. Let's see. He is buried in fool's ego. Good. Let me see. There were a couple good things that they said about this. Key thing he said, misled by the media. We're being misled by a law enforcer in this. Dion's an actual hero that kids should be emulating, praying for you. 31 likes. This one right here, 1.9 thousand likes. We need more leaders like you, Dion Joseph. No, we don't. No, we don't. Dion Joseph needs to wake up and smell the statist salts and realize that he's a big part of the problem. This is exactly the kind of gentleman we need in office. No, we don't. This is the guy we need ruling us and writing laws for us. Sir, I was in LA and thank you. This man is America. This man is the voice of reason. I see why they say that. He says a lot of reasonable things. This man is an example. No, he's an example of what you shouldn't be doing. He's an example of the cancer in our society. And a lot of people, this turns them off. But guys, if we keep doing what we've been doing, if we keep applauding what we've been applauding and supporting what we've been supporting, we'll keep getting what we've been getting. And that's more and more statism, advancing more and more toward totalitarianism.
I don't want to call him irrational, because if I wasn't a police officer and all I saw 24/7 on social media and on the radio was that the police are out to get black people, police hate people of color, and they're repeating that over and over and over again, I'd probably feel the same way. So I was LeBron James before I became a police officer. So I want the anger towards...
It's not that police are abusing black people. It's that police are abusing everybody who's not them, who's not a politician, who's not in the judge class, the judiciary class, the legislative class, the executive class, or the law enforcement class, or the corporate elitist class, or the billionaire banker class. These cops won't come out against them, but they will come out against you. They're your enemies. This man is your enemy.
Him to stop, because he, in my opinion, just like I was, is also a victim. He's also been guided to a thought because that's all he was exposed to. So for everybody that's...
Wow, I didn't realize how complete this psychological operation is. You got this big black guy who's speaking in a very articulate manner with an Aerosmith shirt on. You can't get more psychological than that, man. This is a mind F.
Out there that's so happy that a cop is coming against LeBron. That needs to stop right now. That's not what I'm about. I'm not about calling him out or laying him out. I'm about hoping that we can sit down like men and have a civil conversation and understand and humanize each other.
I
That's
like
the
that.
main reason.
Humanize each other. That's exactly what we need. And when I engage with a law enforcer, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get this guy out of his uniform, out of his authoritarian mindset, and humanize him. But they will not have any of that because they won't do that. They have this huge ego. They have unlimited force and power of the state, and you shall submit to them. Are there some cops that are a little bit more cool with you than others? Yeah, but that's all that adds to the deception. Of course, I would way rather meet that cop that's not outwardly tripping over his own power.
I reached out the way that I did. I think he's a good human being. The things he's done for children, I think is incredible. And man, when people were giving him flack, I said, dude, this is a really good dude right here.
See, that's the danger of philanthropy, guys. Have you ever looked into the good things that LeBron James has done? He has put a lot of money toward a lot of poor areas and helped a lot of kids with his tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever this guy's worth. He's done a lot of good, but that doesn't erase the communism and the evil that he wants to foist on the good old US of A, the USSR, the USSA.
Now, of course, I didn't.
That's why people are so mentally paralyzed when they come into contact with a Bill and Melinda Gates or a Warren Buffett or a Jeff Bezos, because they're constantly doing good things. Or the Rockefeller Foundation. The Rockefeller Foundation does some seemingly good things too. But that doesn't take away the fact that they were a part of Event 201. They caused the global economic shutdown, the planned organized partial shutdown of the U.S. economy in the second quarter, according to James Bullard from the St. Louis Federal Reserve. They're the ones who are trying to initiate the Great Reset. I don't care how many people that they claim to have helped. They're trying to wreck the rest of us and reduce the population to boot. So it's very dangerous when you get off into the weeds of look at his philanthropic work. Look how many good things he did. Yeah, but let's talk about the bad things, because that far outshadows the good things that they've done.
I feel like in my heart that, there's hope. If not he and I, maybe what I've done can spark dialogue across the nation where cops...
Yeah, exactly, Abel. Like the Rothschilds giving pennies to the poor kids. Are you talking about Rockefeller? Wasn't it Rockefeller who was giving silver dimes to the little peasant kids? And it was almost like a public relations thing. It's like, oh, look, Rockefeller Sr. is giving the little kids money. Isn't that great? And behind the scenes, let's meet over at Jekyll Island so we can co-opt the M2 money supply. I care not who makes the laws of America as long as we hold the purse strings, baby. Here, little children. Those good things that they're, maybe that little kid took that dime home to the mom and dad who are starving, and now they can have a good meal for the next week or two. That does not erase all the evil that the Rockefellers have done on this land.
Cops and communities can start sitting down again and humanize each other once again. That's so important. Where do police forces recruit from? The American public. And I can assure you the vast majority of people they recruit are people who came on with the best of intentions. They're not perfect, but I think their hearts are in the right place. They want to do the right thing. And yes, unfortunately, that negative exception can get in. I'm not denying that.
A negative exception can get in. It's the positive. The positive in law enforcement is the exception. The negative is the rule. You will respect my authority. You will pull over when I light you up. You will roll your window down when I say roll the window down. You will give me your driver's license and prove to me that you should be on this road. You better give me your insurance, and you better talk to me straight, boy, or you're going down. I don't care what the intentions are when you started. Even if you started with the good intentions, even if you started as a good apple and a good person, once that uniform goes on, once you become part of the thin blue line cult, you're a different person, man. You're a different person mentally because you wanted that ring of power, and power corrupts. It always has, and it always will.
But for the most part, you can trust that most officers are just hardworking blue-collar people trying to do a very tough job. We're human beings dealing with human beings, and that's not always going to be perfect or pretty. We have to stop the tribalism. We have to stop the dehumanization of each other. Look, our job is as unpredictable as humanity is, and we're human beings doing it. And if you understand that.
Interesting. I didn't notice that the first time I ran this through. Did you see that? So what you got here is what Fox News is trying to propagandize here is you have cops there just, hey, they're just doing their job. They're just peaceful. And you got this guy right here who's basically the villain as the slow music plays in the background and as Dion Joseph is talking all of his, eloquent speech there. And you got the cops sitting here going, oh, they're just taking abuse. Oh, those poor police officers taking abuse from the public who just don't appreciate them. And then you got the psychological operation of the Black Lives Matter movement who are saying defund the police. Defund the police is a good idea. You know why? Because their funds come through extortion. Taxation is always going to be theft. As long as we continue amening and applauding and supporting taxation, which is theft, then how can you claim to be a moral person? That's why I'm constantly talking about the importance of the main agenda for mainstream media and the government is to distract, deceive, divide, and most importantly, demoralize us so that they can conquer us. Once you're demoralized, they put you on the level of scumbaggery that they are. Because you're basically applauding when a guy who evaded his tax, he evaded his taxes, man, I'm paying taxes, he should pay the taxes. Who's going to build the roads, the schools, the bridges? How are we going to have clean running water? How can we have all these amenities unless we have the government take taxation, tax us? So what you're doing is you're applauding theft, which is immoral. Everybody knows that it's wrong to take from somebody else who doesn't want to be taken from. But when they demoralize you and they sink you into that mire, they got you where they want you. And then they got you voting for the chains of your own oppression. Oh, they got you, man. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Every vote is a vote for them. It's not a vote for you. You think any politician that you vote for or have ever voted for cared about you? No way. Never, ever, ever ain't going to happen. Don't look for it. That's not reality. So now we're demoralized, we're distracted, we're deceived, we're divided, and we're easily conquered. And we did it to ourselves. So now people get into this false dichotomy of, oh, I'm against Black Lives Matter. If they're saying defund the police, that's obviously not right. Instead of looking at it from an unbiased, it's like, hey, I don't buy into Black Lives Matter. They're clearly Marxist, like Patrice Cullors says. Marxism is just another word for widespread theft and the redistribution of wealth. So I'm not on board with that. We know that they breathe out threats like burn this country to ashes, like Hawk Newsom says. So BLM's obviously out to lunch. But I'm totally on board with defund the criminal organization called police. Well, Brian, how will we protect ourselves? First of all, take it out of federal hands. There should be no federal authority, FBI, ATF, CIA. There should not be a federal authority over the rest of us. Take that out of their hands. Take it down to the state and local levels. And now you've got people who know each other, who are fellow community members. Now we can manage this just a little bit more. Now take away the monopoly on force and power and then just privatize security. Now you have privatized security forces, but they're not out there harassing and collecting for people because now in the free market, they can compete. Better prices, better services. And if you're not good enough, hey, we're not using you. We'll use these people over here. It'll be cheaper. Nobody has to steal from anybody. People will be on board with it. Oh, and another thing, the biggest thing you have to do is tell people, guess what? If trouble comes knocking on your door, when trouble comes knocking on your door, not if, you empower yourself. Here, we're going to get rid of all 26,000 federal restrictions on firearms. We're just going with the Second Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It's not the government's responsibility to hike taxes. By the way, we're taking away all the taxes. There's not going to be taxation on ammunition. Then you got all these gun manufacturers who want to put out good product. You have all these ammunition manufacturers who want to put out good ammunition, and they want to put it out for a good price because they want to feed their children too. And now you have all this cooperation and prosperity flourishes like you couldn't possibly believe. Now you have empowered, I'm just going to use the word citizens, although you're not a corporate entity. You have empowered individuals who are armed to the teeth, are ammoed up, have trained. Now they can afford to train and shoot those FMJs, those full metal jackets at the range and get really good at it. Now, and then the next thing is all communities are strengthened to focus only on justice. So when, not if, because there are bad people among us. For the most part, people want to do the right thing. but there are those occasions where bad people want to do bad things. Don't let the injustice system drag this thing on. If some guy raped and murdered 17 girls and left them in a field, and now they drag this thing on for 15 years and put this guy on death row and give him 3 hots and a cop for $65,000 a year while taxpayers get fleeced by the government, and the prison industrial complex starts growing exponentially, now you got some serious problems. Now you got people incentivized to create criminals. See, creating criminals is big business, and politicians know that. When they ban something and they make you a criminal, then the law enforcement class moves in and they can commandeer your home or your car. They can put a lien on your house because the law says, and we're law enforcers. So it's all cyclical. So here's what Fox News is doing. They're trying to make the cops look good, and they're trying to make all the other guys look bad, and they want you to be on board with one or the other. Guess what? I'm not on board with these guys on the right, and I ain't on board with these crazy Marxists on the left. It's like when George Bush said, you're either with us or you're with the terrorists. What if I believe you are a terrorist? What if I'm not with them or with you? Where does that leave me? They give you this false choice and they try to hoodwink people. It's like gun safety regulations. You like gun safety, don't you? Oh, you don't want it. You don't want gun safety. You're crazy. It's like, no, let's identify and define the term gun safety. How does that flesh out? What does it really mean? What are they really going to do? How are you going to enforce it? Oh, that's right. You're enforcing it with the government gun. So you see, there's all this convoluted crap you have to unpack while they pigeonhole you into choose A or choose B, but you can't choose both. What if you choose neither? So this is so cunning, and this is such a deceptive psychological operation. You guys following where I'm going? Anybody disagree with what I just said?
Our job is as unpredictable as humanity is, and we're human beings doing it. And if you understand that, you'll get it. No cop wakes up in the morning wanting to take somebody's life. I mean, imagine, nobody wants.
No cop wakes up in the morning wanting to take somebody's life. How can he speak? See, that's another thing I cannot stand. Speaking for everybody. There are some occasions where you can speak for everybody. I think I disagree. I disagree. You a shill. V for VGX. I'm a shill. I wonder if is that a joke, or should I take that seriously? Gun training and education is a real gun safety. Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Punisher. Exactly. So V for VGX says, I disagree, you a shill. So I wonder if that's for real. A shill for freedom. Oh, he's joking. I was just wondering. Sometimes I don't even know. I don't even know what's going on sometimes. But Adam's a shill, though. Adam who? Okay, so, oh man, I lost my train of thought. I need to stop looking in the chat room. All right, we'll go back. We'll go on.
That's mode nowadays, but these are split-second decisions.
I know what it was. He just spoke for everybody. He spoke for every cop. I don't think any cop wakes up wanting to kill somebody. How do you know? The cops are psychopathic. I bet politicians wake up going, how many people can I kill today? I don't know that they do, but I wouldn't doubt that there would be, but I can't speak for all of them. Oh, what I was going to say was, I think I can speak for every human being who is sane and has a heart beating in their chest and has a modicum of human compassion and just common sense. I can speak on behalf of everybody. Nobody wants to wake up to a gun in their face. Nobody wants to be stolen from. But for the most part, nobody wants to be harmed unless you're a sadomasochist. In that case, I would not put you in the classification of sane. I think I can speak for all, but to speak for all, like these politicians go, America wants this. Really? America wants this. You're telling me that I'm American and I don't want this, Joe Biden. I don't want you to put a ban on menthol cigarettes. I don't want you to put a ban on bump stocks, Donald Trump. America's not calling. I'm American and I don't call for that. Stop speaking for me. It's amazing how politicians and law enforcers and just corporate media yucky yucks like to speak for the rest of us.
They always get it right. Most of the time we do, sometimes we don't. But let's not always default to racism. We have to judge people by the content of their character and the totality of their circumstances.
Yeah, I agree.
Dr. Martin Luther King, not their skin color.
I agree.
And that's important to also reduce this chasm and step back, take a few deep breaths, wait for the facts to come out before you judge.
Yep, I totally agree. I agree with, not totally, I agree with a lot of what he says, but this is shrouded in major, major dangerous deception. I view Fox News as way more dangerous than CNN or MSLSD. And the reason is because they sprinkle in a little bit more truth with their big lie. It's like the skin of the truth stuffed with this great big lie. If it's more deceptive, then it's less likely to be discerned and hoodwink more people. And I think that's Fox News. On the other hand, I know a lot of people are hoodwinked by CNN, but it seems more straight poison to me when you flip on CNN. While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.